One love to the humble, one love to the humble, one love to the humble. Grace and peace be multiplied unto you. Hey, think about this. Think about the rate that black men are going to prison. Young black men. Think about the rate that young black men are going to prison. Think about how many murders. I don't think I can say that word, but whatever. Think about what's going on, the crime is committed, the level, and how bad the crimes are that young black males are committing. And it's getting worse and worse. People have always committed crimes. Yes, there's always been crimes committed. But look at how frequent, and look at how bad it is now. And we still blame it on the same thing. I mean, at some point you gotta ask yourself, is it really somebody else? Or does the responsibility lie on that person? Because that's what it seems like. It seems like it's just easier just to blame somebody else than to actually call it what it is. But when you don't call it what it is and you blame it on somebody else, what you're saying is you're telling the people that's coming up, that's in this lifestyle, that hey, it ain't your fault why this is happening. This is somebody else's fault. Everything you're doing is not your fault. You didn't put yourself in this position, somebody else did. Somebody else is the reason why you committed that crime. Somebody else is the reason why you took that person's life. Somebody else's problem. Well, you can blame it on somebody else all you want. But at the end of the day, that person is going to have to do that time. They're going to have to do them 50 years, 60 years, especially if they're a repeat offender, or if they have gang affiliation, all them enhancement charges, and they can hit you with different charges for the same. You can do the same crime, and they can hit you with different charges. Gun charge. They can add on another charge. They can add on all the charges, and then look at your criminal history and say, okay, well, you've been in trouble for this many years. This how much you've been locked up this many times. You've been through all of this. They're gonna throw the book at you. But then black people will say, oh, they racist. That's why they did it. That ain't why they done that. The law states these things. You got an extensive criminal record, and then you still doing all these violent crimes, and then you end up taking somebody's life, you gone. They're not gonna take no pity on you. They're not gonna take any pity. So who's gonna do the time? Not the people that we blaming it on, not the people that we say that's the reason why, which that ain't the reason why. But anyway, if that makes you happy. But that ain't the reason why. Somebody gotta be honest and say, hey, look, the reason you have to stop doing this. It's nobody else's fault but your own. Because you're gonna be the one who have to do the time, no matter how everybody try to make it seem. At this rate that we're going, if you're looking at how many people get locked up, young black males just get locked up on this day-to-day basis. In 50 years, it's gonna be more older black men than it will be young black men out here. Think about that. It's gonna be more older black men than it is younger black men. Because all the young black men, not all, but so many of the young black men are going to prison. And they get long sentences. By the time these guys get out, they're going to be 50, 60, some of them 70 years old. You can't contribute nothing to society. You maybe, but the world will be different in 50 years. The world will be different in that time. It's not going to be what it is now. Just like the people that went to jail in the early 90s that's coming out now, it ain't the same world when they left. It's a way different world, way faster paced. Things of all this technology, they don't know nothing about it. They might know about cell phones, but it's more to technology than cell phones. They come out here, they're gonna see things that they heard about that they didn't think was real. It's gonna be a different world. It's hard to adapt. Think about people that's been out here the whole time. They still have trouble with these devices and with technology. You take somebody who's been out the street since the early 90s and you put them back out here right now, and they much older. They don't know what this world, how these things are now. how you think they're gonna function? They're gonna go back to what they know and end up right back where they came from. If they ain't got a serious support system, and if you went in at 20, you got like 30, 40 years, you come out at what? You come out at 50, and you gotta hope you got some family members that's still alive that know you well enough to help you, support you, because you're gonna need it. But it's gonna be more older black males than younger black males. My prediction, this is just my prediction, in about 50 years. And what does that mean for young black women? Think about it. I ain't gotta tell you this. You already you smart enough to put this together. You see where I'm going with this? There ain't gonna be no more black people after a while. If we don't get the men, listen. I have some ideas of some things that I want to do. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, but I want to do some things because something has to turn this thing around. I mean, maybe you can't save them all because the music got them and the culture, the subculture is just so bad, it's so influencing that it's hard to get them to change because they idolize the gang members, the violence, the shooting. They idolize it, so it's hard to get them to not to see it. Right here, well, in my city, somebody always getting shot. Right? We just had a guy got shot last week at the rec. These guys shooting ball in the rec. They get into an altercation. Young kid go outside, get his weapon, get his gun, come back inside the rec center, shoot inside the gym at the rec. Took another kid's life. Now he on the run. Over a basketball game, man. Something that you could have just either just had a fist fight about and been done with it, or you just could have walked away. These young guys need some guidance. And if you're a father out there and you got a son that don't live with you, that live with his mother, you need to get involved in your son's life. A lot of these kids are going to the streets, depending upon your son's personality. You know what it may be. A lot of these young boys are turning to the streets for looking for that manhood, that male guidance. You know what your son's personality is. You know what he might get into. You need to get involved because I mean it's ramping up. It ain't getting better, it's getting worse. And if you want your son to be a statistic, then you keep on staying away and making all these excuses. Ain't no more time for excuses in our community. Things gotta change and people gotta be willing to change. This whole promoting this nonsense and continuously saying it's somebody else's fault when ain't nobody else out there with them when they committing this crime and they doing this nonsense. They out there by themselves. They choosing to make these moves. What do you expect? What do you expect? It's a weird space we're in as black people. On one hand, we blaming somebody else. On the other hand, we saying like but we the ones doing it, but we saying it's somebody else's fault. It's our fault. When you take responsibility for yourself, that's when your life starts to change. But if you keep giving that authority to someone else, then you'll never change. You'll remain in the same position for life. But you'll wonder why you can't get up. It's like a confirmation bias or self-fulfilling prophecy. If you don't believe that, if you believe somebody else is the reason, then you don't try. So every time you don't make it, you say, hey, see, I told you that's why I didn't make it, because they was holding me back. When that's not the case. It was because of your inability, because you wasn't prepared. But we can never get better with that attitude right there. Black people ain't ever gonna get better if we think every time we do something or every time something don't happen, it's because of somebody else. You gotta look in the mirror at some point and just say, hey, maybe I'm just not qualified. But we've been spoiled. We've been told for so long that it's nothing wrong with us, that it's somebody else's fault. You can never get improved when you think that. People that lived before our time, in a time that was much harder than what we live in today, were able to accomplish things, and they did not blame it on racism. They just got better. They got better. We ain't getting better no more. We stuck in the same place. We can't get out of my... We worse off now than they were back then. Mentally, because mentally they were tough. We mentally weak. Today we can't do anything without blaming it on somebody else and crying about it. They didn't cry about nothing back then. They didn't blame it on nobody. They understood what it was, and they said, I'm still going to defeat them odds. We don't do that anymore. We just give up and cry. Y'all take care.